Cruising the Main, touching on a little of its history from its beginning to recently becoming legal once again. Cruising the creek started around 1960, but it did not get much print until several years later, which is where this story begins with excerpts from local newspapers with producer commentary along the way. That bit of local history as we ride down memory lane on a 1965 Honda Dream, making metaphorical stops along the way at a few favorite restaurants, burger joints, and turnaround points along the strip. This photo of Mel's Drive-In on Main Street was published in the Los Lomas yearbook in 1959. One of the cruiser turnaround points at the south end of town was the Broadway Plaza horseshoe-shaped parking lot, which had opened in 1951. The heat was just starting to bubble up in this May 1965 article, which in a nutshell described the problem as seen by the establishment. Walnut Creek's teenage traffic problem, known as cruising the creek or dragging the main, where youngsters drive their cars down Main Street on Friday and Saturday nights, making it difficult for others to get where they need to go, as unfortunately downtown Walnut Creek has become the cruising mecca. The city council believed that the problem could only be resolved by bringing the youngsters themselves into the decision-making process to come up with alternatives to this aimless driving around. Producer comment, but it was not as aimless as the city council thought. For me at least, it was all about showing off your car, motorcycle, or truck and looking to meet up with the opposite sex. In another May 1965 Contra Costa Times article, 373 citations had been issued over the preceding 6 Friday nights. There were so many that an additional judge was assigned to assist Judge Betsy Ron with the juvenile traffic citations at the Walnut Creek Municipal Court. The usual caseload of around 35 had increased to 66 with the Friday night safety checks. In the producer's humble opinion, safety checks were for the most part just another harassment tool used by the cops to discourage kids from enjoying the evening activities. With a chuckle, I ask, where was Woody Smith when you needed him the most? Rest in peace, Woody. In yet another May 1965 article, the city proposed holding teen events such as public dances to occupy teenagers' time on Friday or Saturday nights as a possible answer to the cruising the creek problem. This was before my cruising time. Does anyone remember if that ever happened? Hokies 19-cent Burgers was another popular stop along the cruise route with its famous Blue Room and delicious butter burgers wrapped in yellow paper. Hokies announced its arrival December 23, 1953, opening for the first time at 7:30 p.m. at the corner Main and LaCassie. The newest ad I could find for Hokies was published in the Contra Costa Times March 1969, by which time the cost of their burgers had gone up just a bit. A few businesses have occupied this property since Hokies closed, and today the lot has once again been cleared to make way for a new bank building. This letter to the editor defending cruising was written by a Concord teenager in 1973. In summary, if you would like to know why someone goes to cruise the creek, it's because they want to meet someone new or meet friends who are probably already there cruising. It's a nice, safe place, and if you're hunting for someone to talk to, you're likely to find someone there you know. It keeps you out of boredom and trouble, and keeps you in touch with people you know from school. I feel that almost any teenager who cruises the creek could have written this. Mel's was another popular stop on the strip, where cruisers could get delicious food brought right to their car door. And from the looks on the faces of Terry, Vicky, and Dick, it was the one and only way to end a perfect date. Lynch Foods was the North End turnaround for many of the cruisers until it was replaced in 1967 by the new Walnut Creek Gemco. My most vivid memory of the Gemco turnaround spot was when my friend Greg Thomas coated the rear tires on his 1965 Mustang GT with oil, so he could literally keep them smoking forever, or at least until the cords showed through. In 1974, the Walnut Creek Youth Council began circulating petitions urging those who cruise the creek to obey city laws and eliminate the vandalism, drinking, and other cruising-related problems which had been on the rise since last summer. But by the time this article was written in 1976, the streets were empty except for a patrol wagon watching for barricade runners. It's quiet, no shouts-outs like, "Hey, I like your mother's car." There were no wolf whistles and no screeching tires. It looked to be the end of an era at the least. It may be the end of cruising the creek. To stop Friday and Saturday night cruising on Main Street, the Walnut Creek police had put up barricades. Producers note, the shout-out "Hey, I like your mother's car" was the ultimate put-down. Cruising puttered along for a few more years and even moved around to a few different venues, such as Contra Costa Boulevard in Pleasant Hill. But the writing was on the wall: cruising was about to disappear. The turnaround at Lynch's Market was replaced by Gemco, and today it's Target. It was fun while it lasted, but I guess nothing lasts forever. Or does it? Cruising the Main in Walnut Creek and elsewhere in California became legal again in January 2024 when a new law went into effect. The justification for the new law was spelled out in this article that was published in the Danville Patch. Classic cars, lowriders, and cruising are an integral part of California culture that were often targeted with local bans. The new bill prohibits cities and counties from enacting bans on cruising or lowriders, making cruising legal again across the state for the first time in decades. Advocates say cruising bans unfairly targeted Latinos, for whom cruising is a significant piece of cultural expression. Photos here from the American Graffiti movie, and a Chevy lowrider recently seen in Concord. Ending with this from the Woody Smith police story video a few years back. The Queen of the Main. One cruise night, Tong warriors came roaring down the Main on their motorcycles trying to intimidate, even hitting some of the kids on the street. What they did not bank on was Tina, who was standing in the middle of the road at Main and Bonanza. One punk tried to hit Tina. She sidestepped him and roundhouse punched him in the face, and he ran into the wall. It was hilarious to watch this punk crash and burn. Thank you, Tina. Tina is still around today and often shows off one of her Corvettes at Concord car shows. I think it's time for another cruise night. Would you be there at least in spirit? Thanks for coming along on this week's nostalgic cruise down one of the memories of our youth. Many thanks to newspapers.com for the articles, the members of the 68024 Corridor History Group, Wikipedia, the web, and the American Graffiti website for additional photos and text. Video and text from the producer Mark Harrigan.